Yes.
Can you go over number 64 from section 301?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Again, there's a lot of these homework problems that if nobody ever asks me about them, I basically know nobody's done them because some of these get a little bit freaky. This is one. Of course, I love this one. I would. I feel like I might have left some stuff back in my office, so maybe I've got some stuff for you guys to work on. Because I gave back, did I take a quiz last time? No. There's just too much going on right now. So I think I have a little stack of stuff back in my office, graded stuff. So I'll get that when I have you guys working on the sheet in a bit. Let's see. This is the one that says, where'd it go? I had it. Which one was it again?
64?
64. Oh, find equations of both lines through the point 2, -3. For 2, -3 that are tangent to this parabola. Where do you get there? Okay. So there's several things to realize. Does that point lie on that parabola? No. In fact, if you plug it in, it don't come out. So don't plug it in and go, well, this is no. What is the idea here? So can anybody tell me anything? So if you have no idea what the shit to do, almost any math problem for us, it's a good idea to give yourself a little visual of what it looks like. Anybody tell me anything about that parabola? Opens up, great. Tell me something more specific. Can anybody tell me anything about that parabola? Your brain should start doing stuff automatically to that little equation. What can you tell me graphically about that parabola? Anybody?
It's moved to the left by center left.
Can't tell that really. What's some key things? We're going to graph something. What's like one of the best first things to look for?
Positive.
Okay, it opens up, You're going to graph something, some shape, some function. What's a good thing to look for first?
The zeros.
Yes, the intercepts. Any intercepts, right? How do I find the X-intercepts for this guy?
So, well, you said y equals 0.
Sure. And then what do I do with this? How do I solve this? All right, let me stop real quick. If anybody's concerned that the problem said nothing about graphing it, like I said, if you have a problem staring at you, you have no idea what to do with it, they give you some visual, create the visual. Give yourself something to think about, right? Okay, this is what pre-calc is for. It's to like hammer in your head all those methods of graphing so that graphing is quick, should be, so that when I have a calculus problem, I can do that part real quick or think about it real quick. All right, so how do I solve that? Yes, beautiful. So then I get
Choose -1 and 0.
-1, 0. All right. So 0, -1. Vertex is going to be in the middle of those, and it's going to open up. So it's going to look basically like that. And then 2, -3 is right there. So I need to find the 2 tangent lines. Can you see why there would be 2 tangent lines? So there's one right here that goes through that point. You see that? And then somewhere again, if I keep following this, somewhere there's going to be another one that goes through there. There are 2 tangent lines. So now you got a visual of what the hell they're asking me to do and why it makes sense that there are a couple of these. So then a really good next question is, great, what do I do now? Right? So what am I missing that they normally give me when they ask me to find the equation of the tangent line? What am I missing?
Point on the parabola?
A point on the parabola. What's the question always? Find the equation of the tangent line to f of x equals blah at x equals or at this point. Do I have the points up here? Yeah, there's a point and there's a point. What point is this? My graph sucks, by the way, yes? But it's good enough for a quick sketch visual. You with me? So don't tell me that's the vertex and find the vertex. That's bullshit. I have no idea. My graph sucks. But I'm still going to ask you, what point is that? Because I'm crazy. What do you do in algebra for a word problem? What's your first step? Fred and Bob made $2,000 last week. Fred makes $500 more than twice Bob. How much did each of them make? What's your first step?
Write down I was going to say, like, write that down, like, write down the equation.
You can't just go to the equation. What do you have to do first? Who's x, right? You have to assign math names to the English shit, right? I always tell people, don't jump straight to the equation. Give yourself, what's the English shit? Then put what the math shit is. And then I can write the English sentence in a math equation. Math equation is just a mathish sentence. I love you guys. So what's that got to mean? Well, there's an unknown here, right? What's my unknown? That point. All right, so what's the most general way to reference a point? XY, kick ass. But what's y? I do know one thing about this point. It's not just any point anywhere. It's got to be on that parabola. And what's y on that parabola?
X squared plus x.
Yes, okay. All right, let me stop for a second. This would be really kind of difficult to get to if you didn't start with the picture of it, right? Once you get the picture down and you can see what the shit's going on, you can start to work with the picture. And what motivated me to go here? I normally have a point. I have to have a point on the parabola to find the equation of the tangent line to that point, but I don't have a clue what point that is. So I'm going to just, all right, it's freaking xy, and then I know what y is. If it's on the parabola, y is that. This is a really good general thing to remember. If I have a function and some point on the function, you could always write any point as x, f of x, of course. Shit, it's going to get really hot in here. I hate that. They locked me out. Those doofuses. Oh my god. 5 more degrees worth to go through. Oh god. Alright. I'm gonna die. So, what do I do now? Shit. What 2 things do I know about the... Yes?
So you have x and x squared plus x, and you have 2 negative 3. So
Yes, yes.
You set up y1 minus y.
Ooh, no.
No.
I'm not trying to totally shut you down, but to find the equation of a tangent line, I need a point. I got it. Then what do I normally do next? Find the slope. I love it. Are there 2 ways to find the slope? Let's just focus on this line just for a visual. It doesn't really matter which one because this is also x, y. This is also x squared plus x. But let's just, for the visual, let's look at this. There's 2 ways to find the slope. One way is algebraically, right? Take a minute and figure out what the slope is between those 2 points. Write that down. What's the slope between those 2 points? Nobody's writing anything. x1, y1, x2, y2. Can you figure out the slope? And I don't mean a number, because there's freaking x's in there. Can you write an expression for the slope? Hopefully some of you guys aren't writing anything. I've already done this problem. And you're like, yeah, I did this one. All we're doing right now It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Alright, so I normally like to put my variables first, so this will be x squared plus x minus negative 3, so x squared plus x plus 3 over x minus 2. It's not wrong if you do it the other way around, it's just uglier. What's the other way that we know now to get the slope of this parabola at any point? Here's one way to get the slope. Slope 1. What's the other way to get the slope now of that parabola at any point? I take derivative. I like it. So the other way to get the slope is to, what's the derivative of this? 2x plus 1. So that's the slope anywhere on the parabola. That's the slope I want for my line. So what am I going to do with these things? Sub equal to each other so you can figure out what the hell x is. Do you see how it's quadratic? Do you see how you're going to get maybe two answers, hopefully two answers? Yeah. And part B is easy then if you think, I think part B they move the point. There are places where there will only be one tangent line, and there's places where there'll be 0 tangent lines. So that's part B is about that. So if you just take this, what is this? The slope of this line. What is this? The slope everywhere for this guy. If I set them equal to each other, I'll get the x value that I want. I love that problem. You would, Jeff. Is that an easy problem? No. Have you seen one like it? Of course you have. Ha ha ha. Not really, but yes. I mean, that's how calculus in any math class is. Ideas, millions of different situations. So don't cry about not having seen something before. Yes, you have. You just have to think about the idea and how it applies. Again, not an easy problem, but there are key things to apply to any other problem I give you. Visual, if it makes sense, right? This idea of x, y, and then x, comma, whatever the shit y is, to represent any point on any function. That is remarkably useful. Just like saying x is Bob's salary, well, x, y is a point on that freaking graph. Same idea, just next level up. You guys are happy? Okay.
Can you also hit 75?
So slowly die. Let's see, 75. Let me see. Find the problem of the equation, blah, blah, blah. Oh! Alright, this is kind of similar to this, but easier.
Okay.
So find the problem. We sort of had one, remember that one we did yesterday was find the polynomial where p of 2, p prime of 2, p double prime of 2, that one? Yes? So pick up the one from this. I'm going to melt. Okay. Find the parabola with equation. So find the parabola that has an equation of this form, whose tangent line at 1, 1 is y equals 3x minus 2. What is the most important calculus information that gives me? Tangent line is this. What calculus-related idea is right there? What's the only calculus-related idea we've learned yet, to be honest? Derivative. I like a lot of shit went into figuring out derivatives, yes, but we really have learned one thing: derivatives. So what is it about that Tangent line being that. What do I know? What's important that I know about this tangent line? Slope. That's the first thing I kind of find out if I have to create a tangent line, right? I find the slope first, then plug it in. Slope is 3. So just like that last problem we did, are there 2 ways to get to the slope? Yeah, I see it's 3. I also know what's the slope for any point in this thing.
A.
No. How do I find the slope of a function? I just take derivative. And what's the derivative of this? 2a x plus b. So, do you guys agree with me? That is the slope at any point. Yes? And what is the slope supposed to be at 1, 1? What's the slope supposed to be at 1, 1? 3. How do we know that? This is 3. So how do I put all that together? At 1, 1, the slope is supposed to be 3. Yeah, after what? So what equals what? No. What's x? Equals 3, right? Now, so that's the part that actually is exactly like the last problem we did, just a little more direct. How many unknowns do I have in there? 2, okay. How much information do I have so far? How many pieces of information? 1. I need 1 more. Where do I get the other one from? There's something very fundamental. What is this thing supposed to do? It's supposed to have this tangent line, and it's also supposed to go It's supposed to go through this point, isn't it? So when you plug a 1 in, you're supposed to get a 1 out. So that will be your second A-B relationship, and then you can eliminate, substitute, whatever the hell you want to do to solve that system of equations. This happens all the time in math. Perimeter is 40 meters. The width is 2 less than the length. So how many ways is there to write perimeter? 2. Here's one way, 40. What's the other way? Oh shit, it involves variables. And then I set them equal because they both represent the same thing. That's what you're supposed to get out of those word problems. If I ask a student, so this will be, let's see, L minus 2, is that cool? And I say, what's the perimeter? They say 40. I'm like, great. What's the perimeter? They're like, 40. No. What's the perimeter of this? Set it equal to 40 because we know it's supposed to equal the same thing. So here, what's the slope? This. What's it supposed to be? This. So then you set them equal to each other, right? And then this other one is just straight up in your face. Plug a 1 in, you're supposed to get a 1 out. But it's really easy to skip over an idea like how to use this to make an equation. What's important here, right? I understand that. But these problems aren't supposed to be immediate. They're not. If you can't do a problem immediately, things are fine. Things are just fine. That's exactly the way it's supposed to be with some of these. Okay. Anything else from homework stuff? I'm in a very generous mood, apparently. I can't do shit about it, sorry. They have locked me out. They said, all right, yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm going to suffer just as much as you are. Yeah, you can crack the door open if you want to. I can't do shit. All right, that's going to help me out. Oh, at least somebody in the back will survive. I can't really let you out earlier. We got a lot of shit to do, so. Damn. Maybe I'll get to a point where I can get you working on something. I'll go back and get the little stack, and I'll try to see if there's another room that's open that's not insane. Yeah? Because it is kind of I never know if it's just me. I always run hot. So this feels like, yeah. All right. So let me do a little bit, and then I can escape, and I promise I'll come back. Did I start this guy up? Yes. What's up? Yeah, it is. Sure. All right. Anything else from homework? Okay. So let's do. Yeah. Okay. I'll do this. Let's do a little review of chain rule. I'll give you this thing to start working on, and I'll run and do those things. This is getting crazy. By the way, I was really concerned on the quiz that people had something like this and they were writing it like this. That is concerning. Obviously, you write that like that, all your answers can be wrong. Hopefully, obviously, right? What's the quick way to remember how to rewrite this? Where are roots on most plants? On the bottom. So the root goes on the bottom. The power goes on the top. Power's powerful, it goes on top. Roots are on the bottom of most plants. You got to say most plants because actually tuber, that's quite. Sorry. I'm not making fun of nerds because I am one, but just keep it yourself biased. How do I rewrite this then? Before I take a derivative, I'm not going to put a prime yet. I'm just rewriting this in a better form. What better form can I put that in? Based on what I just said. 5x squared minus x to the 2/3. I like it. So how do I take this guy's derivative? Yeah, good. I like it. Somebody's motioned to me what to do. 2/3 comes down to the negative 1/3, right? 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Got to subtract 1 times.
10x.
Sure. Okay. The derivative of the inside. So we can let's try to. I never do more than one link. That's where people are like, when do I stop? No, if that question comes up, you're not looking at this correctly. Is there a chain rule for this guy? Inside, is there a chain rule for this guy? This inside? No. It's just a polynomial. Why would there be another link? That's not how this works. Take the derivative of the inside. If there was another inside, then I'm going to do another link. And what's the last thing I should do here? A couple things I could do to kind of clean this up. If you stop here, I'm not going to give you too much shit about that, but 2 times this, right? Over 3 and this. To the positive 1/3, because I can take that down. Okay, I like it. All right, let me do this. Any specific chain rule related questions? Let me give you the sheet. I want you to start thinking about this. This is getting into the next thing. This is getting into section 3. Maybe before I say it, I got one working eye and it's got sweat on it. That sucks. Oh, that's right. Well, we'll come back and do that shit. We're going to do 3.9 first, and then we'll come back and do 3.7. Just because I feel like. go find us a new phone for the moment and get the graded stuff. Hopefully, is in my office.